Currently, our application looks like this. Our home component has been created and styled. It looks pretty, it looks beautiful, but it doesn't really do anything. We can't log in, we can't sign up, we can't play a quiz. Though for this tutorial, I won't be touching the back end side of things, so we won't really make these buttons work or do anything. I want to be focusing on the front end of things. So in the application we are creating, whenever you click play, it takes you to an instructions page that just gives you instructions on how the quiz works. So we don't have this page in the one we are working on now. If I click play, it tries to hit the routes /play/instructions, but nothing happens because we don't currently have a component being rendered from that route. So in this video, we're creating the instructions page for our application. So over in my text editor, in the source folder, in components, we'll create a new folder and call this folder quiz. And in quiz, we'll create a new file, and this file will be a functional component, and it's going to be called quiz instructions.js. Now save that. Now the first thing I want to do is to bring in or import React, and we're importing React from React. The next thing we'll need is component and fragment. So component, fragment, and I'm writing them in curly braces because they are named exports. This is how you bring in named exports in React. Now to create our components, we say const, and the name of the component will be quiz instructions, and it's going to be equal to an arrow function that simply returns some JSX. So I'll be returning a h1 for now, and I'll just say hello from instructions page. Then I'll export this my component, export default instructions page, quiz instructions, sorry. Now over in app.js, I want to bring in that component I just exported. So it's going to be import quiz instructions from ./components /quiz instructions. Now I'll duplicate this route here, and this route is going to be /play/instructions, and the component to render is going to be this quiz instructions component. So quiz instructions. Now one other prop we need to pass to our route is the exact prop. Now what this prop simply means is match this route exactly as it is and render this component, because if we don't pass in this exact prop, if I had another component, say play game or whatever, that just contained some of the characters in this route, it will match that component to render it, and we don't want that. So this exact prop takes care of that. So over in my application, we can see we already have hello from instructions page to show you that it's working. But I'll just go back to my home page, which is localhost 3000, and I'll click play, and it brings us to this hello from home page, from instructions page. So we know that currently this our component is being rendered on that route. So I'll just get rid of this. We don't need it anymore. Now one other import we need is the link, because we'll have links at the bottom of our page, and it's going to be from React router DOM, and I'll bring in helmet, which we'll be using to change our page title. Helmet from React-helmet. Now in my component, I'll wrap everything in a fragment, and in the fragment we'll have the helmet component, helmet, and our title for this page is going to be quiz instructions, quiz app, helmet. What is the issue? Helmet. So below our helmet component, we'll have a div, and this div will have a class name of instructions, and another class name of container. And the container class simply centers the div in its parent container, which is the body in this case. Now in the container, we'll have a h1 that says, or a title that says how to play the game. Not a title, but a heading. So how to play the game, this text here from this one. Now the next thing we need below the h1 is a paragraph that says ensure. Now for the sake of time, to keep this video as short as possible, I'll just be copying and pasting this text. So copy that and paste it in the paragraph. Now the next thing we'll have is our instructions are a list, or is a list of instructions. So I'll simply quickly create that list. So it's going to be an unordered list, which is a UL unordered list. Now the UL will have a class name of browser dash default and an ID of main list. Now for our first list item, we have this. I'll just copy it, create my list item. I want to keep this on the same line, paste that. The next list item will be this. Copy, paste with the full stop. The third list item is this. Now within this third list item, we have an image or a screenshot, and I've added the link to where you can get these images and use in the application. So you can pause the video and download the images and put them in your application and continue. So I'll just quickly import the images into this component. So over in my assets folder, in the img folder, I have these 4 images: answer, background, 50/50, hints, and options. So the images we'll be using here are the answer, 50/50, hints, and options. So to import them, I'll first import answer. Again, you can name this whatever you want. What really matters is the file or the import where you're importing it from. So it's going to be // to move out of the quiz folder, // to take us out of the components folder and into the assets folder. In the img folder, I want the answer .png file. Next, we'll import the 50/50 from // assets /img/50/50.png, and the third one will be hints. So this is going to be hints.png, and the fourth will be options.png. So options.png. So I've imported these 4 images into my component, and if I click one of them, you can see the screenshot is being displayed here. So let's go about adding them into our component on the page. So the first image we'll be adding is going to be img. Source is going to be the options image, and the alt text is going to be options example, quiz app options example, quiz app options example. Now don't forget to self-enclose the img tag. So we just added this very image here, the image that shows that you have 4 options in the quiz. So if I reload the application, this is what we have. So continuing on, we have another list item here. I'll just copy the text, copy down here, paste, and over to the next list item, or in this case an image. So within that list item, within this list item, we'll create another image tag, and this image is going to go to answer, to display or set this image source to this answer screenshot which we have here. That's why I'm passing in this variable of answer, and the alt text is going to be quiz app answer example. Then we have another list item, and this is going to take this, so paste that. Now within this list item, I want to create a sub list, so go ul. Now this ul will have an ID of sub list, and each list item in the ul will contain, the first is going to be 2 50-50 chances, and the last one, or the second one, is going to be 5 hints, just the way we have in the original application. I just added this. So the next list item is going to be this. Now I'm going to copy from here to this point, leaving out the icon because we're going to add it in our JSX, so we can't just directly copy that. So we have this. Now for the icon, we'll be using material design icon. So the class name is going to be mdi dash, and the icon name is set dash center, and I'll give it a class or a size of 24 pixels, and my own class name of lifeline icon. Now you can't just use any size here. These classes actually are given to us by material design icons, while this is the class I have added here for my own stylistic purpose. So now I've added that icon, I can copy the remaining part of the instruction, which is this part here. So copy, and down below I'll just paste that. Now this list also has an image, and this is where it ends. Wrong answer. So wrong answer. So it also has an image. So down here I'll just create the image, and the source is going to be 50-50, and the alt text is going to be quiz app 50-50 example. So that's that. Now the next list item we'll have is going to be this one, the one with the bulb. So I'll just copy this down to this point, copy, paste, and we also have an icon for this one, so I can just copy this span here and paste it down here, and then change the icon name, and the icon name is going to be mdi light bulb, light bulb, light bulb on is the class name, and it still has a size of 24 pixels and my lifeline icon class I added. So I just copy the remaining text, which is all the way from here down to this point. So copy and paste that, and I think this one also has an image too, so it has an image here. So let's add that image. So down below, just still within this li, still within this list item, I'm adding an image here also, and the source is going to be hints. So hints, and again I'm making reference to these images I imported up here. This time we're importing or using hints. We're using hints down here, and the alt text is quiz app hints example. So after that, we have a few more list items to add, and the next one is this. So I'll copy and paste it down here. Next list item is this. Paste, and the last is this one. Paste. Now this is what our instructions page looks like currently. So we're almost there. The last thing we'll do will be to add these links here. No, take me back, and okay, let's do this. So to do that, just outside our UL, we'll create another div, and in the div we'll have a span, and this span will have a class name of left, because I want to float this span to the left side of the div. And in this span we'll have our link component for routing, and it's going to take us to the home page. So the 2 is going to be /. Now just close this link before I go on, and the text is going to display is no, take me back. Now just duplicate this line. This will have a class name of right to float it to the right side of the div, and then also an ID of, or we don't need an ID, and it's going to take us to the route /play/ yes, just /play. This takes us to the quiz itself, and the text is going to be okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Now that's it for our home component. All we need to know is just add a few styles and make it look good. So for the styles, I'll create in the styles folder in components a new file and call this file _quiz-instructions.scss. So I'll just copy the name before I save it, because I'm a very lazy person. Now over in styles.css, I'll duplicate this last one and paste that name I just copied, leaving out the .scss and the underscore. So let me quickly check that this is connecting by changing my background color to maybe orange. So the background color should be orange now. Good, it works. So we know our CSS is connecting, or our style is connecting properly. So over in the quiz instructions, I want to select this class here, which is the entire div holding this component. I want to select this class here, instructions. So just do the usual. Now I want to give this class a border, and the border is going to be 1 pixel solid, and then I'm going to darken the color of white by 10%. Now we don't currently have this variable, so let's just quickly create that variable. So we'll copy that over in settings. So down here, okay, we have the off-white variable already. Off-white is #f8 f8 f8. So I want this border to be 1 pixel solid off-white. So this is the border, the really tiny light gray border. So continuing on our styles, the next thing I want to do will be to give it a border radius of 5 pixels, just to make it curved a little at the edges. So border radius of 5 pixels, border radius, and then a margin top of large, and a margin bottom of large also. Now let's see what our component looks like. Okay, we have the little margin at the top and at the bottom also. So the next thing I'll do is to give it some padding. So for the padding, now padding top and bottom will be large and left and right can be small. Okay, that's still very small on the left and the right, so I'll just make this also large and top and bottom can be small just to reduce the space at the top. Okay, good. So we have this padding at the top, and at the left and right we also have this little padding also on the left and right sides of our instructions container. So over to the H1. Now I want to give this H1, this is our title, our heading here. I want to make this heading look like this one over in the original application. So let's do that. So our H1 is going to have a color of black. And have I created that variable? No, I have not. So of black is going to be hash 333. So to have a color of black, a font size of medium, and a text align of center. Text align center. So our H1 now currently looks like this. Now let's style our lifelines. So lifeline, I want to give it a position of relative and then a top of -3 pixels, just to bring the icon down a bit. These icons, bringing them down a bit, because if I comment out these two lines here, let me show you what we'll have. They kind of look a bit up from the line, so I just want to bring them down a bit using that. I also want to give them a color, so lifeline icon, lifeline dash icon, no space. Now the color is going to be green and a cursor of pointer. So they are currently green, and the cursor changes from an arrow or this tiny cursor here to a pointer when you hover over them. So that's that for the icons. Now for my lists here, they have a class of browser default. So I'll just copy this browser default class name. I want to give my lists a padding on the left, a padding left of 30 pixels, just to move it in a bit, and a margin top of 10 pixels, and a margin bottom of 15 pixels for our lists. That's what brings them in a bit to the left from this line there. And what else do I need to do? Now the last thing we need to do is for our images. Currently our images are wide and even moving out of their container, so let me just call them to order. So for the images, I want to give them a width of 80% and the height of 50%. So that just makes our images look like this, like the original application. And then one last thing, or the last thing we'll also do will be on smaller screen sizes. If I enable my developer tools, now we can see that the images look too small on the iPhone X and on mobile devices. So I'll just add a media query to fix that. So media max width medium breakpoint. So selecting the instructions, CSS selector, and the images, I want to give them a width of 100%. Go make that important, and the height of 150% also important. So this is how our instructions page looks on a Pixel 2 device, and on an iPhone X it looks like this too, and on an iPad it also looks like this. So our instructions page is looking good, and that's it guys for this video. So in the next video we'll be creating the quiz page and doing all the magic there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and see you in the next video.